I don't have one to share, and also I'm having a little trouble with my streaming app today, so I'm having the lady work on it. But we're trying to get this stuff all synced, and I think when I tried to add Periscope and Facebook Live and other stuff, it's gotten a little confused and it slows down my computer if I try to share my screen. So also I can't show my lineups yet. We'll be able to do that shortly in the next couple weeks, I would say. Um, Want to thank you guys all for being here for a while. I think we're really picking things up with the site and everything, and with Pierce on board now, which is great. So thanks to that. Sheets is away at the game today, so remember to root for the Knicks if you don't already have a rooting interest in the Hawks. I don't know a whole lot of Hawks fans out there. So game today. Anyway, I'm gonna be here till 6:30 Eastern, and then I will take off. I need to edit the list because this. Okay, our people didn't get this right. But yeah, when you pop on in, please don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff if you aren't already. And make sure that you drop in any thoughts you have, drop in any plays you want, any questions you want, and try and do it as soon as possible so that way we make sure to get to them. I want to get to everything in the next half hour because I need to finish building a ton of lineups. For lock. Change the name in here. Okay, I don't know why she put it in like this, but we need to fix this. This is really frustrating. Oh, I hate technical stuff, guys. I hate when technical stuff doesn't work. I love when it does. I hate when it doesn't. And yeah, anyway, so basically the things I'm doing in baseball today, we'll start with that. We'll jump into basketball afterwards. I have a pretty tight list. It's Atlanta, Colorado, and the Dodgers, trying to avoid the chalky Baltimore. I'm sorry, the chalky Minnesota side of the Baltimore game. So that's what I'm doing. I really like Colorado on DraftKings. I know Atlanta's going to be pretty chalky, but I think if you mix in some Colorado stacks, which is what I'm basically doing, those are my main stacks. And then I'm going to get a little bit to the Dodgers as well. I also think the Yankees are an interesting stack. I know that the kid's talented, but we don't know how long he'll go, and we know the Yankees have a lot of power in those bats against lefties. So I'm definitely interested in that. Let's see if I can go and see if there's anything in chat. My pitchers, I'm using a very small core on DraftKings. It's Bueller, Manaea, and Manoah. I did throw a Dubnak in there in one of my larger field GPPs. I have Pivetta in one of my larger field GPPs. I even have Smiley in one of my larger field GPPs, and I have one Valdez. So those are my weird little get weird pivots, but mostly it's like 75% of Manaea, Manoah, and Bueller. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. Individual bats that stand out to me, I have it loaded up on the site as well, but it would be Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton. Obviously, Acuna as a part of a stack or not, I know it's chalk, but it's something I'm willing to go with. Ryan McMahon, Daza, it's not way off the board here, but actually Colorado should be a little bit lower owned than we expect them to be. So again, just guys want to remind you, that's why my screen's not showing up. Thanks a lot to WW Fresh. I really, really appreciate the kind words. What's up, K9 Bronco? Thanks for being with us the whole time, you guys, and it's going to get better and better. We're just working out some kinks right now. And remember, drop in any questions. Again, can't share my screen because it literally freezes every time. And I've had the technical people work on this, but I literally worked fine earlier today when I tested it, and now it's just completely off. So sorry about that. All right, so baseball is pretty straightforward with that. I was still waiting on the Twins lineup, which is kind of crazy because the game's an hour away, so I don't really understand what's going on. I don't think this should be like a normal thing in baseball. In fact, I think as long as the leagues are partnered with sites like DraftKings and FanDuel, it actually should be against the rules to not release your lineup as early as possible. I would say at least 4 hours before the game starts. And in baseball, there genuinely is almost no need to ever not do that. I mean, yeah, maybe Mitch Garver with the groin situation, maybe that's what it is, but it infuriates me. It's a bad look for the league, and they are partnered with these sites, so they should be doing that. Anyway, it's also not that hard to get a starting lineup out. I mean, you could do it a week in advance. Like you could schedule it. It's like they know what they're going to do. It's just really frustrating. But obviously we need that Minnesota lineup. I am mixing in pieces of Minnesota. I said I'm avoiding the chalk, but I'm going to play Trevor Larnach at 2,400. I think a good pivot away from that is on the other side of the same game. You got the 0% owned DJ Stewart at 2,600, And I think he's just about as good a play as Larnach is. I like Larnach as a better hitter, but I mean he's not there yet. But that game does have great hitting conditions. This is there's a lot of teams I expect to score runs tonight that I'm not going to have, like Houston, like the Nationals. I think that the Blue Jays will score some runs, even though Lopez is a good pitcher. I'm just not getting to any of those guys. But I do like the Orioles as a mini stack to mix with my Braves stuff. Favorite bat there would probably be Galvis and Santander. I also really like if you can get to Mancini, but DJ Stewart's cheap. They just offer a lot of value, and there's enough power for Stewart to where I'm willing to take that chance there. So that's where we are with that. Let's see. WW Fresh says he's got a 3-3-2 Braves, Yankees, Red Sox stack on FanDuel with Montgomery. I think it's a solid strategy. It's not what I'm doing at all. I don't like Montgomery, but I don't think that it's a bad play because I don't really like any of the pitching options, factoring ownership and everything. So it's completely fine. It's just not what I'm specifically doing. I do think the Yankees, the stacks that I'm doing with the Yankees are 4 and 5 man, just because I'm just sort of hoping the kid kind of maybe blows up a little bit, maybe gets wild, and this is not a team you can get that wild against with all those righties. So anyway, yeah, that's basically all of my baseball stuff. So get any baseball questions in before we jump over to basketball. We can also talk about PGA. We got a big tournament tomorrow. I sort of mentioned me and Sheets did our show already, but no problem, WW Fresh. But I built some lineups that I like quite a bit, and I'm really into Kazire again. I really want to be ahead of the trend on this guy. I love Joaquin Niemann. I'm going to play him even at chalk basically every week until he's priced like Victor Hovland, because I think that you're literally talking about almost the same level. I really think he's that good. Maybe I'm a little biased because my girlfriend is from Chile, so that's in all fairness probably worth letting you guys know that. Bryce is my favorite spend up. Rom is the other one I'm using. A tiny bit of Thomas, but not that much. Oosthausen, Woodland, Tringale, Kazire, Grillo, Henley. Those are my high-end guys, and I probably have at least 40%, 30 to 40%, I'd say, of each of those guys. That's sort of where I'm going for golf. Basketball, I will talk about what I'm doing. I'm trying to find a way to do this a way that I like. It's hard. On FanDuel, I have some lineups with Mike Scott, which is really uncomfortable. Earlier in the day, I thought Gafford was fadeable. I think he's less fadeable now. Knowing, just confirming that he's starting and everything, especially on FanDuel. He's got the power forward eligibility. Not my favorite position over there. And I'm rolling with Dwight. I don't really care what any of the projections you're seeing on different. I see very different ones on different sites. So I'm not going to get hung up on that. I'm not going to get, Dwight Howard might only play a team. Sure, it's possible. I think Dwight Howard has a chance to put up like 45 fantasy points tonight, and I'm not going to fade him against this Washington team. So that's sort of where I'm at. But I am considering on DraftKings in my main lineup potentially playing Robin Lopez instead of Gafford. I know it's crazy. I mean, I know it's not optimal, okay? But we're trying to find ways to get different, and you're trying to find ways to jam in these awesome guards. And Lopez, especially with Gafford starting, might actually be the first one. I don't know if Len will just be completely faded out. I really think there's a chance that happens. So Lopez, I could see going out there, and he played really well in the last game with no Embiid. I could see him having a solid outing here at 3,100. I actually think you can play both of them together, but I'd rather play Howard. That's just where I'm leaning on DraftKings right now. And I'm trying to get different. I'm trying to fit in Simmons, obviously Tobias Harris, but I also really like Paul George, Rui Hachimura, Donovan Mitchell, John Morant, and just sort of mixing around with those guys. The George, Mitchell, Morant thing is really close for me. Currently giving a little bit of edge to George and Mitchell. But I mean, it feels kind of silly with the way Jaws played in this series to be doing that, but that is what I'm doing. Favorite spend downs on FanDuel. Would love. You're talking about for basketball, K9 Bronco? I mean, I assume it's talking about basketball. So I think Neto is an interesting play, but less so on FanDuel because I think that you want to pay for your point. Like that, I am playing Westbrook on FanDuel. I do like Luka more on FanDuel. It's easier to get him in. I still like Ben Simmons on FanDuel. So that's the way I'm leaning right now. I'm probably, I've got another 50 minutes to take a look. But the guys I'm spending down on are not crazy names. It's Seth Curry, DeAndre Hunter. I mentioned the crazy Mike Scott play, but I'm not going to do that too many places. I like Dwight Howard over there, Gafford for value. I think Porzingis is cheap enough to where he's playable. I really like Paul George. I'm sort of siding with tonight. So that's pretty much it. I'm gonna keep going back and answering questions. I do really appreciate you guys. You guys have been really great to me the whole time, and I love doing these shows. It's always hard without a person, but I love if there's any interaction. So throw in anything, even if it seems like a silly question. Is Montgomery a donkey play though? No, it's not a donkey play on this slate. Absolutely not. You're fine to play Montgomery. I just didn't find myself with any of them tonight, but I think it's totally fine, and I wouldn't argue against a huge portion of pitchers tonight because outside of Buehler and Manaea, who I think are significantly better, and Manoah than everyone else, I think that there is room to go. I think we can go after other guys, but it is a small slate, or smallish slate. It feels like a small slate. Those are the guys I'm rolling with, but I totally am fine if you want to go ahead and play Jordan Montgomery. I've done it before. Shooting guard on FanDuel, do I like Mitchell or is it Beal or George? I'm actually going George more than I'm going the other ones. Now, I don't feel 100% that any answer is adamantly right. It's really going to depend on game flow and situation. And I would bet on the Dallas Clippers game to be the most competitive, we need you to go nuts kind of a thing with both George and Kawhi. And I'm not playing Kawhi paying down at small forward instead and using George more often. So that's where I'm at personally. But I certainly don't think that either one is wrong. I am going to throw in some Grayson Allen lineups on DraftKings for value. That's the other thing I'm considering doing. Thanks for asking that, Carnes. That's really, I think it's a long shot play, but it's just like, look, you want a heat check guy for value, right? In general, I would rather play a guy like Grayson Allen than Robin Lopez, obviously. He's a little more expensive. But you want either a heat check guy or you want a guy who's going to be forced into getting nonsense stats like rebounds and blocks and things like that. And Brook Lopez is the reason why that's why I'm playing him. Really appreciate K9 Bronco, the kind words again. Always nice to hear. Guys, remember, if you're out there, please like and subscribe. Jason, thanks so much, man. We're going to make everything really cool, and I'm glad you guys are all going. We've also been adding a bunch of more people to our chat, so stay active in our Discord. There's a lot of good, smart people. We've got a lot of actual guys who do this for a living who are in our chat, and Pierce is very active. I'm trying to be more active, but also trying to work on the site, so it's kind of multitasking, and there's always issues going on there, but I do want to get in the Discord more. Anyway. So we don't have a ton of other things to go through, I don't feel like, in relation to this slate as far as baseball goes or basketball. I think I've said my piece. I will say basketball, the guy who I really wanted to try to get in because you just get a feeling that this is the game where it'll go their way, sort of. I also think the Knicks crowd, and I'm not saying like there's any sort of scam in, but I'm a Lakers fan, and I just want to say, I expect LeBron James to get every call in Game 6. I think that will happen. I think that happens around the league. I think it happens for superstars in closeout games. And I've seen it happen with everybody throughout, going back to the Jordan days, although Jordan never had to play a closeout game once he started winning titles. But I think Julius Randle is the guy who I'm afraid of not having more of, especially because he's not particularly high owned. I just find myself preferring Paul George, and they're similarly priced, obviously different positions. Ja Morant, another one I'm scared of a little bit. Donovan Mitchell, I really like, and I'm actually probably going to be well out of the field on him. I think people are nuts for not playing Ben Simmons. I'm just going to say that. Like, I get it on FanDuel, because you can play Luka and Westbrook on FanDuel too if you want to. I just am not buying that Ben Simmons is going to go out there and just lay a dud out in front of the home court fans trying to close out a series. I think Ben Simmons gets 50 plus tonight, fantasy points. I think Tobias Harris gets 45 to 55. He's the one I've got more of than I actually faded him a little bit on FanDuel because I don't think that I feel like his path is a little bit more difficult than Ben Simmons is. But I expect Simmons to initiate most of what they do tonight. Do I like Jaren Jackson? Absolutely, Ted. Go ahead and fire in Jaren Jackson. He's always a strong play. Always a strong play. He's a strong play in this situation. There is definitely a downside to his game here. One of them being foul trouble. But also, I just think that he's got enough upside there. And when we're thinking about the fact that, wow, Jaren Jackson versus, Daniel Gafford chalk, I think he definitely makes a lot of sense when you look at it like that. Oh, yeah, the NFL is going to be awesome. We've got some other guys who are going to be joining us for that. Not going to say who yet because it's still up in the air, but we do have a couple guys who I'm 95% sure are going to be joining us for that, and it's going to be a really, really fun season. Thanks, Lindsay, for the nice words. Appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. But yeah, drop in any more questions, and I'm probably going to get out of here in a few minutes if we don't have any more, and try to finish building out some of my lineups. I'm still waiting on that Twins lineup, so if you guys happen to see it, give me a holler, let me know, and let's make some money tonight. This is, lately I'm usually been known as, Sheets always teases me that I'm the big slate guy because I always get the big slates in the NBA. I always do really well, but I think I try to think very off the wall in baseball in general. So it's been a couple weeks in a row that I've won on these little. It's not a little slate, but it does feel like a smaller slate. It's bigger, it's smaller than what we've had for sure. Anyway, yesterday, but I don't know. I think that there's something to the way things are working out. Obviously, running good on these short slates, but it's nice to get wins back-to-back weeks on the biggest tournaments in baseball with one entry. So trying to do that. K9 Bronco, yes, I do have Porzingis currently in my main lineup on FanDuel Gulp. Montgomery or Pavetta, both, I would put those guys as similar. I'm leaning Pavetta because I like his history versus righties. He's also, though, and he's a fly ball pitcher who would be hurt by that in Boston. I think he's got the upside. So I'm going with Pavetta personally, but I don't really love, like I said, I don't love any of the pitching. Who's my top play big ticket? I need to know what your sport you're talking about. Basketball, baseball? Oh, baseball. I guess, so top play as far as hitters go is not like a real thing, because hitting has so much variance. I just want to point that out. You should never be playing loading up on, I'm only going to play this hitter in all of my lineups. Hardly ever. Tonight is one of those nights where I'm doing a little more of that. So I'm playing Acuna and McMahon pretty much as many places as I can on both sites. And there's a lot of good value out there. There's a lot of other good plays I could talk about. I love the Atlanta stuff. I trust them more than I trust anybody else tonight. And I know, look, it's burned me a couple times this year, and it's won for me a couple times this year. So take your pick. But I do like Atlanta better than I like Minnesota, which, when you factor in ownership and everything, I expect them to be slightly less owned, but still pretty damn high. I also, again, I'm just going to keep playing the Rockies at home when people aren't going to play them. And I want the expensive ones, McMahon, Tapia. They're not crazy expensive, but they're expensive. And then you've got Daza as the cheap one, who I like the best. Also, I like DJ Stewart, who I mentioned earlier, at 2,100 for value. I like Kirilloff in the mid-range at 3K and Sano at 26. I'm using, sometimes with these big slates, and I just talk a little bit about game theory, everybody else, that used to be the thing, you either stack or fade the game, or you needed this or whatever. No, you can try and pick out your home run bats from games. That's actually a real thing that happens in baseball. Pitchers don't usually give up 4 home runs in a game. It doesn't happen. And also, everybody wants to stack against Senzatella. This guy's given up more than 1 home run only once, in those last, I think, 20 starts. So, just keep that stuff in mind. But I think trying to pick out the Sano or Kirilloff, even though they're going to be chalky, and other people who have them are going to have all the other Twins, I don't mind mixing them in with my lower-owned Colorado stacks, even though, again, not going to be low-owned, but lower-owned. And I just happen to like Colorado, Atlanta the most. That's where I'm at right now. I think the Dodgers are excellent pivots. Out of interest, how did I meet Sheets? Good question. You both had good conversations. So I met Sheets a long time ago. I played poker for a living for about 8 years, and traveling all over. And my friends Bax and Sheets were the original stakers. Those of you guys who know Stake Kings out there and all that. They were the original ones. They staked all the top poker players, including friends of mine who won the World Series and main event, and they did really well with it. I was supposed to play for them at one point, but I ended up getting a deal with somebody else, and then when Sheets wanted to start playing DFS, he asked another former top poker pro, whose name I'll leave out, who's the best, who he could learn from, and they recommended me, thankfully. So I started helping him learn how to play DFS, and then he's become a monster since then, for the most part. He's having a little, everybody's a little up and down swings, but for the most part, the guy's gotten really good at every DFS game pretty quickly. So that's where it comes from. He's a great guy, one of the better people I've met in either industry, poker or DFS. So, I think we're pretty much good to go. I'm actually going to go out there and visit Sheets pretty soon in New York, so that should be kind of fun, and going to be out there with my family this summer some. So be nice to be out there and traveling again. I've taken a few side trips around California lately. It's nice to be living life and actually like outdoors and having drinks and meeting people and hanging out and just living rather than being stuck in a room for months, which is basically what was happening out here before. Doesn't need quarantine. I feel like he's crushing LOL, and it's like the one thing I never have looked at. He just does really, really well. He's very analytical. He's got his own process. He's got his own his extra his own projection system that he's built, and now you guys have access to it on TrueDFS.com. He's printing out his sheets. He's not giving you the formula, but he's showing you exactly who he's got every day, and take advantage of that stuff now because it's going to become. We're only going to have it for people paying at some point. We're going to have it behind the paywall because it's truly one of the better things out there. I'm also going to start loading up my actual full sheets that I use. It's just I haven't figured out a way to do it it's not a visually pleasing way for me right now, so I don't have those done yet. So I'm sort of relying on I'm sort of putting pressure on myself to get that done over the next week to two. And we're going to create a lot of other things on the sites, but always give us ideas. I saw some good ideas from Chris earlier on the earlier video about just writing out our top guys. We're still a little ways away from having a producer for the shows, but so maybe we won't have like the graphics and all that. But I can just show you and tell you and write out my top plays. The guys who I say I'm playing on the site are the guys I'm playing. Same thing with sheets. We just have different ways of going about it, but whenever we seem to agree, things tend to go a little bit better. Anyway, guys, I think I'm about to bounce out of here. It looks like you guys are pretty settled on what to do for the night. Remember, before you leave, please give us the thumbs up, and I'll be here for another couple minutes if you guys want to drop in any questions. I know there's a little delay, so if you have any questions, let me know, and I'm happy to answer anything as best I can. I think tonight's NBA slate is wildly tough, and it's really strange in a slate with this few games that you're going to have ownership as spread out as it's going to be. There's going to be some shock, don't get me wrong, but like there's going to be some different ways to go too. Trust me. Yeah, I think we're pretty good, guys. Appreciate you guys responding with the likes and the thumbs up and everything. Again, apologies for not having the video today. Sheets will be back, and we'll have it the rest of the week as well as all of next week. We'll have some guests on as well next week, both for videos and live shows. And then starting once we activate, to stop the beta testing, really treat this, it's a full functioning site. We're not going to go anywhere. We're going to be with you every day, and we'll have some good other people with you as well. Well, nice. I'm glad you did. Karen's, hey, look, if you're not going to win the tournament or come close, like sometimes I prefer min cashing to like a 10th place or 11th place finish. It's kind of when you feel like you have the path, but those min cashes add up, and yeah, hopefully we can do a little bit better today and win something. Always let us know how you guys are doing. If you guys are winning, and let us know. We want to share it. We want to keep that going. Also, there's some people out there we owe some lessons to, and would love to follow up with us on those things because I'm happy. I'm ready to do them, and I even had an idea that we could do some coaching sessions with some of you guys for maybe do a 15-minute session and go through and record it if it was okay with you guys. I think that we could have some fun doing that, and I think it would be beneficial not just to the person who's doing the lesson, who's getting the lesson, but to other viewers as well to see how the process really works. And you could say, look, this guy wins in DFS. This guy, having a process is really important, and you should not focus on your results entirely. No matter how much someone's winning right then, that person goes through losing streaks too. But focusing on process is the one thing we can do. I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that you won a main event. That's awesome, man. You know what? If I'm out there for the main event and decide to play it this year, I will definitely hit you up and hopefully meet you in person finally because we've talked back and forth for a while now. So that's awesome, bro. Congratulations on that, and hopefully just win the damn thing. Why not? Why not win a bunch of $8 million or something? All right. Thanks, Karens. I appreciate it, guys. I'm gonna jump out. Really appreciate y'all. Thanks for hanging with me, and thanks for not complaining about the blank screen, and we didn't have any trolling or anything today. It's good stuff. Nice to be positive for a change because it really gets tiring when you're trying to just do this stuff. You're not even getting paid for it right now. It's crazy. So yeah, sounds good, WW Fresh. All right, guys. Really appreciate everybody being here. Don't forget to check out any stuff on the site, and please send me feedback anywhere you want to. DMs probably work best in a Discord, but anywhere you want to. Happy to try and cater things to you guys. I know that there's some more FanDuel stuff for K9 Bronco we could do, and I want to start doing some more of that. So I don't know if I'll be out there yet in Vegas for the main event, WW Fresh, but I didn't think I'd ever miss the main event again, and I've missed like 4 in a row. But I may turn around and play it this year. I just had a lot of traveling I'm planning on doing this summer back east, so I don't know if it's going to work out. I want to spend time on the site and really pay attention to it. So anyway, that's where we're at. All right, y'all. Really appreciate everything, and good luck to everyone tonight. Someone take it down. We will talk to you shortly, and we'll be with you tomorrow. Later, guys.